Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So I checked Wikipedia. Whoa, up with my hair. And it didn't seem like there were a lot of matches happening today. And then, of course, like, I check again a little while ago, and it's like, oh, a bunch of matches have already happened. So this is what I get for checking Wikipedia, my man. I guess... No, I didn't really get any announcement either. Yeah, I don't know. So there should be a match happening right now, I think. But, okay, what's Daniela doing? Oh, they're Rex anyway. Oh, I see. Okay, well, they're 42 minutes. We'll just try and jump into this then. I felt like I wasn't doing anything useful today, so I'm like, let's try and make ourselves a bit more useful in life. Alright. For good vibes, yeah. So, Draken gonna be here in the purple as the Britons to the southwest. Danielle is already a long ways into this one. I'm sorry, guys. I thought there weren't any matches happening this morning, but then I guess they got scheduled later or something. Not really sure how that worked out, so we'll give streaming a go here, but unless people are actually going offline soon, I probably am not going to get much in terms of viewership, so we'll have to see. No regicide? It's kind of weird. Oh. But yeah, starting with 200 stone, it's definitely not regicide. Alright. Looks like Matador is going to be booming. Draken's going to be a-boomin'. Going boom, boom, boom. I want you in my room. Anyway, I think this is just, or is there a 16 person? Oh, it is around a 16, my bad. My bad! Yay. A lot of houses. That's a lot of houses. Anyway, Turks versus Britons is kind of interesting. Don't love it for Britons if it goes late. Although, of course, like, there's still the brick wall you run into with running out of gold as Turks, which can be absolutely ground down by halbs and logbowmen and whatnot. But I do feel like HCA that are insanely tanky, hussars, and siege rams are going to be very difficult to stop, and even some artillery bombard cannons. We have some fully upgraded elite elbows, though, as we should see a switch into halbs in just a moment. Yeah, it used to be that this was a terrible matchup for Turks because Britons would just kill them in early imp, but Cav archers have become a lot better. There were, like, no good matches, in fact. Well, actually, Duduju versus Xuen LV was a good set, but everything else was a stomp. But, yeah, I mean, these CA, I feel like, are going to be very, very difficult to stop. Especially once some siege rams start getting added in eventually. Nope, Draken's holding the line, that's for sure. Yeah, but this is kind of how I expected it to go. Although still, that's 57 longbowmen in the queue. That's a lot of longbowmen. Oh, Draken also got 5 relics. Okay, 5 relics is definitely a difference maker. Yeah, Res Destroyed is actually dead even. Yeah, I do think that siege rams are kind of a must here. Otherwise, this happens. I mean, the longbowmen are obviously so significantly cheaper than the HCA. Okay, there's Capram coming in, but this does feel quite late. 45 wall. Matador is getting quite a few villager kills, in fact, but Draken's just using that to pump up his army numbers more. And there's Ornlu, a Warwolf. Hello, Hans. Okay, now you're gonna start to mix in some siege rams, but you've already lost all the momentum. I mean, this feels like a very odd use of APM. Okay, Danielle's at like 51-ish minutes, so... Yeah, I feel like you're probably just getting too far behind an army at this point. Yeah, now you're at a gold as Matador. Yeah, this feels like an improper tech transition. Hello, Hyungjun. I didn't plan on streaming today? Well, you know. I thought there weren't any matches happening for Midweek Madness, or like there was one really early and then there wasn't anything happening for a while, so I'm like, it's probably not going to be worth it to stream. And then I see that there's just stuff happening constantly. And now, like, everybody else is already online. Alright. Well done there, Draken. Do you think Matador screwed up his transitions, though? And see, only 70 more units made. Huge, huge army advantage. And yes, you had the big gold lead there as Draken as well, which is giganto-enormous. That's El Matador. He changed his name to Mati. All right, so let me update this. Best of 3. This is Midweek Madness. And I think the next set should probably be Soxy versus Classic Pro. There we go. Tally-ho. Alright, so it looks like all of this is just... Yeah, Danielle's already been live for 3 hours. T-West hasn't been on live that long. Maybe he's not going to stream a ton today. Michael Postma, thank you for the raid. Your nighttime? Well, there you go. Oh, yeah. I was getting together with my friends yesterday, and I introduced them to Somek for the first time, which is Korean soju, which is like liquor. It's kind of like a watered down rice vodka, and mixed with beer, and they enjoyed that a lot. But we were playing board games, playing some video games. It was fun. Peeps, I will do my best. No promises. French accent on the Michel. All right. So let's see. Okay, we got our drafts. So sorry about the delay, guys. And who knows how long I'll actually stream here, but like tomorrow and the day after and the day after, we'll do the whole midweek madness thing again, as it was a lot of fun to do last week. So we'll keep on doing that. Radical experience. Wait, what? I was not streaming at 4 a.m. European time. Alright, so what are the maps this week? I like how they have a different map pool every week. We got Fortress, Arabia, and Migration. I had been weird? What? Was? Okay, Rex at 52. Wait, was I live on YouTube? Did I accidentally hit a go live button or something? You is with the people and the place and stuff. Alright, so I don't know how many sets there are even. Okay, so running versus Terz and Hope versus... Oh wait, Hope versus Neos is tomorrow morning. Okay, yeah, we'll just do that tomorrow then. $13 ago? That seems weird. I mean, I only streamed for like an hour and a half. Or 2 hours. No idea. Okay, we got the Rex. Time to stream? Yeah, that would, it would certainly be unlike me. Alright, so Migration will be game number 1. Stream? I mean, if I was casting something Asia time, then that's getting close to prime time in Asia. So, I mean, that certainly could be something I would do, but still not... Unless there was, like, again, a tournament in Asia or something. I know I'm on YouTube right now, but I wasn't last night. Alrighty, so Soxy going to be here in the blue as the Vikings to the west of Migration, which is kind of weird, right? Because Classic Pro here to the east. Oh, he can fish boom. It's a fish boom pond with Japanese. Oh my goodness, guys. Ban the Chonkers for migration? Banning Persians and Saracens both can work on migration, but yeah, I mean, Vikings and Japanese are still two top-tier civs for sure. So, I mean, as far as, yeah, this matchup goes, Classic Pro should be very heavily favored. I would not be surprised at a 2-0. Soxy's a good solid player. He's like 2K3, 2K4 or something, but Classic Pro is much more in the 2K6 to 2K7 ballpark. We'll have to see how this one goes. Ore. Nanny.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're Rex, so clearly this is not an adminry. Wait, they changed Yucatan? Why would it need to be changed? Also, this isn't really adminreable. I mean, it's not like there are any bugged resources or anything. It's just kind of weird that one player starts in the corner of the map and one starts in the middle. 6... What? Yucatan doesn't have that much gold on it. Oh, that's weird. That is very strange. And, yeah, because you really had to get trade up and running quickly. In 6 boar, like, you had, what, 3 boar before, I think, right? You had 3 boar, 16 deer, 2 forage bush patches, and 16 sheep. Gold light pocket sieves? Yeah, that's fair. Oh, look at that. Sheep are like just in the corner. 6 boar? That is all, like, that's so much. Just bizarre. Alright, Doc coming in a little bit faster for Japanese, as one might expect. That's a lot of fish. Like, this is a super freaking good dock, man. You can build a second one, like, right over there. Castle Age 9-1 Scouts? That's ridiculous. I don't know why they have to keep changing maps. I mean, it's not like Saltmarsh, which was just a terrible map, so it's, you know, fair that they completely changed it. Even if I did think it was kind of fun how wild it was back in AOC. Gold Rush, I can also understand the changes to it to make it a much more fair map. But, like, Yucatan was always just kind of a only semi-viable map in the first place, just because the faster food collecting civs were all broken on it. Varying degrees. Mongols obviously being the biggest case. All these hawks in the corner! But Britons were also really good on it. Franks were really good on it. But yeah, like, Mongols are just the best civ there by far now. I mean, they already were the best civ there by at least a semi-decent margin. Although in tournaments on Yucatan, you'd actually see some of the camel civs as, like, Mongols counter. Like Hindustani Gurjaras. Jurchens? I mean, Jurchens would just kind of be like a worse Mongols. So, like, if Mongols were banned, Jurchens would probably be a good choice, but not worth picking over Mongols. That's it. I wonder if Jurchen late game can actually deal with Mongols at all. Because you have bombard cannons, which is really nice, and you have your own rocket carts, like the Thunderclap bombs. NTCAU. Yeah, Berbers can also work for a similar reason as the other camel civs. Alright, so Soxy's going to be going with an aggressive opening here. But will the galleys be able to get there in time? Because I feel like if Classic Pro does 2 defensive dock galley, it just works against so many different things that would include galley-based aggression. Just because, again, it takes so long for the galleys to actually get here. And then if you go for the more economic build, you'll be getting to Castle Age very significantly faster. Grenadiers are great. I mean, like, you wouldn't use Grenadiers against Mongols, but against Mongols, if you can get to, I mean, ideally Iron Pagoda, but if not, then Hussar serving as a meat shield for your Thunderclap Bombs siege. Be really good. Nani. And that is going to be a very early transport ship here for Classic Pro, so maybe it's like the fast castle forward dock into fire ships kind of thing. Could certainly be an idea. Double bit axe coming in here for Soxy, and again, he is just going to be keeping up with the aggressive, and then... Pain, is it that much? Isn't it 65 HP versus 70? So 5 more HP than an onager and 5 less than a siege onager? Isn't that the case? Alright, got a Veil coming forward here as well.
Not bad.
And fishing ships to 4, though, so obviously Soxy has to get a lot done, and the first galleys are only just now leaving the station. These are Japanese fishing ships. They're going to take a while to go down, and it's going to give Classic Pro a lot of time to build up Navy. That's it. Is he going to just... Because you only have so much wood, right? You can't go for 3 galleys and also market blacksmith for Castle Age, I think. Especially with the dock coming in there. Oh yeah, 75, my bad. Yeah, 60 HP for Onager, 75 for SO. Yeah, that's definitely less. And honestly, rocket carts just don't really feel as good compared to Onagers. Maybe that's just me. But I just never see heavy rocket carts used anyway. Anyway, galleys have shown up to the party. Already a significant resources advantage, and indeed, the focus is going to be on the Castle Age over the warships. So there you go, Castle Age is in. And now it's just going to be how many fishing ships can you keep alive? Because you can't just play galleys at this point, because even if you get to Castle Age, get War Galley and Bodkin, if you only have like 7 of them versus 15 galleys, you'll still probably lose that very decisively. And when I say probably, I mean you will lose that very decisively. So you need to go for the fire ships, which are going to be much more population efficient in these low numbers. Anyway, you can still see the significant resources collected lead here for Classic Pro. That dock has been discovered. And I mean, it's gonna be, what, 6 galleys already shooting at the dock? Remember, you do get 6 anti-building damage. So you do 6 damage a shot. Oh, those fire galleys, I guess, are going to try and buy the fishing ships more time, but they will die in the process, so this isn't too bad here for Soxy. He does need to keep up his galley production, though, if he wants to have a chance. Yeah, 4 kills, 0 deaths, though, and now it's going to be how much can the War Galley upgrade do for you. Now, you are already in the middle, though, as Classic Pro. He sold a little bit of stone, but you can grab War Galley and drop a TC with this one bill, I guess, if you really want to. Ooh, careening coming in. Okay, so that's going to be one way you can tackle the galleys, because remember that careening is the difference between 2 damage and 1 damage for galleys versus fire ships. So obviously that's a significant difference, and Soxy's going to click on up. That's it. We are still looking at 16 galleys right now. And that is a big old number. That said, training and fire ship are both in. And now these guys are going to need to skedaddle. They're going to need to skibbity toilet daddle. Ohio Riz. I don't even know the other kid words, man.
Yeah.
so much. You know, for somebody who's technically Gen Z, or at the very least borderline Gen Z, I just don't understand it at all. I feel so out of touch with people who are like 2 to 3 years younger than me. Their TikTok dances and their laboobos. When is Gen Z again? It depends on how you count it. If you count it by birth year, it's 1997, and if you count it by school year, it's the 1997 to 1998 people. I would say I am a zillennial, though, being born in 1997, but going to school with people from 1996 to 1997. Yeah, and like I would be the last generation, so to say, because I do remember 9/11, but I was 4 years old, so I don't think anyone younger than 4 is going to remember 9/11. Well, there's the fire ship combo coming in. You can see this timing is, well, that is the difference, and it is just fast enough here from Soxy. And there you go, guys. Astro's still ahead in the villager count, though. Soxy's going to be in a good spot to push back out on the map. He's going to add in a bunch more fishing ships. Bowsaw coming in. And Soxy looks like he's gathering a little bit of stone so he can drop his own TC. This could end up being a TC war, actually, guys. Oh, jeez. Let's see. Hana, tu, se, ne, taso, yoso. Okay, maybe not. Secondary school? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you remember it then. No, it is actually one of my earliest memories is 9/11, because I was at my friend's house, because, like, my parents left for work early, so, like, I was there, like, in the mornings, and then they'd, you know, just take me to school. And I remember, like, my parents having to come home, and, like, they were glued to the TV, but I wasn't allowed to see the TV. And they put on Nickelodeon, because Nickelodeon was, like, the only channel at the time that didn't cover it. So that the kids could still have something to watch. And I remember my parents being, like, we had, my parents had, like, a little TV in their bedroom, and so, like, they were, like, glued to that, and I wasn't allowed in. Yeah, it's one of my earliest memories. That and AoE, too. Because that was also when I was 4. Anyway, Soxy is almost ready for a castle. Have been suspended? Yeah, that was the case in most stations in America. That's why Nickelodeon was different. Less impactful? Yeah, that's probably the case. But yeah, like everything was thrown off, and it was definitely one of my earliest memories. All right, castle coming in. Yeah, that was I was too young for. I was like a few months old when Princess Diana died. Anyway, Classic Row still has the Ville lead, but this castle is going to be pretty darn good. And you can see that the Classic Row is getting ready to go into like a, you know, Mangonel plus Redemption War. I like that Soxy is going for this castle because 1, Berserks are pretty good in this situation. And 2, you don't have Redemption, obviously, as Vikings, so you have to find a way in which you can get an advantage. Irish Republican family? Yeah, that's fair. Classic Row is going to be on a 4th relic there in a moment, though. Doing a good job minimizing his idle TC time as well, and that eco is certainly vastly ahead here for Classic Pro. That said, he got Mangonel still out here. This TC is likely going to go down, and if Soxy can just get some Zerks going, except he has no farms, which is kind of an issue, then it feels like there is actually a pretty decent opportunity for him. The top well is just kind of how the generation worked out. We're dying with nothing concrete, yeah. I think that was like, what, August 97? Oh, Town Watch came in just in the nick of time. But both players are working towards the castle. Obviously, it would be number 2 for Soxy, number 1 for Classic Pro. But without much food income, he can't really go for a ton of Berserks. And you do need at least, you know, several of them out if you want to be able to challenge this army, because otherwise the monks are just going to convert him. It was painful? Oh, did England lose to Germany? Ah, rip. Oh! Only one mangonel got converted, and it's not even gonna maybe get the shot off. Wow, really well done there for Soxy, but there are still more mangonels here to the north. But without many monks, unless you screw up your Berserk. Legit, guys, if you don't screw up that Berserk, I don't even know how you save most of these mangonels. I mean, you will buy yourself some time, but you're just going to be so much slower to Imperial Age. I mean, again, look at the IDLTC difference. Classic Pro has 5 relics. For a school? Oh, that's cool. I don't think we ever did anything fun like that. Well, we wouldn't have any major sporting events in the morning, right? It would all be in the evening. That was fun. Oh, you know, the new millennium. Oh, actually, really nice flank here. I'm really worried, though, that all of these nice moves from Soxy are just not going to make up for the fact that he is likely going to be very significantly slower to imp. Classic Pro can get a castle over here, and then he'll probably just kill him with fast fire ships and Krebs. Don't kill your units, Soxy! Oh, no. I mean, unless... Yeah, you're not stopping this castle, though. There's no stopping the vortex, Charlie! And yeah, now all you need to do is buy your way up to Imp as Classic Pro, and I don't see how you lose this game. What could be done, though, is to transport over to your opponent's island. Maybe that's something, because you still have water control for now, even if you're going to be losing it horribly in Imperial Age with fast fire ship. What are you doing? No! No, 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 no. Wait, what? Wheelbarrow? Oh, there's Imp. Okay. I think it is a miscalculation from Soxy to think that he could get a faster Imperial Age time than Classic Pro, and that just might be him not recognizing the difference in economy. Because he's going to be slower to Imp, and now he's not really going to have any leverage in this game. Got some docks coming forward. But if you still have those 2 mangonels alive, and you went for, like, 2 mangonels, 5 or 6 berserks, then you start landing this island and making your opponent's life miserable there. Oh, no. Yeah, you just need to have better unit control than this, unfortunately, Soxy. I mean, again, like, you can still be annoying, and Soxy, for somebody who's playing against somebody who's, like, at least a couple hundred elo higher than them, this isn't bad. But I do feel like the food collected difference is, and actually the gold collected difference as well, is going to be absolutely killer. Those 5 relics are huge. A barracks. But yeah, we're going to have 2 castles here to 1. Wait a minute, didn't... Oh, I guess Blue sold his stone for Imp. Oh, yeah, that is like the exact wrong decisions that are being made, unfortunately, here for Soxy. And that is just all game sense. And Classic Pro with the macro to get himself ahead, and he can sort of take the ideal route, which is just get to Imperial Age faster and then win the video game with the Trebs. Soxy, though, probably just not recognizing how far behind he was in economy. Soxy bought 500 stone? Oh, no. You can just see he's doing everything that his opponent's doing, but worse. Having 5,000 fewer resources. Shipwright coming in. But yeah, look at all that Treb production. You're getting fast fire ship and shipwright. This is everything correct here from Classic Pro. Would have been an out. Absolutely. Actually, I don't even know about Rams, because he had the 2 Mangonels alive and the 2 transport ships. So I think, again, you get like 5-6 Berserks and the 2 Mangonels. You start pressuring Classic Pro at home. You at least split your opponent's attention. Then maybe you can start queuing up Rams over on the other side. But, I mean, it is still expensive, right? Castle in the middle? I just don't think there's any real way he could do that. What the heck did he just do? Do what? Anyway, fast fire ships are doing fast fire ship things. Soxy's out of stone. Classic Pro is not out of stone. Castle down. Fast fire ships are torching everything. Oh, I was in my mind, I was thinking, oh, maybe he could go for Catapuruto soon. Nah, it's too expensive. Classic Pro says, no. We're Catapurutoing whether you like it or not. And Classic Pro will take that game number 1 win here on Migration. Way too far ahead in the resources. And Soxy simply could not take enough good fights. If they were even in eco, Soxy's fights would have been very good. But the fact that Soxy was further behind than that meant they would have to take even better fights than that. It was simply not feasible. Still, good attempt. That is Japanese winning against the Vikings. That is Migration going to Soxy. And now is when we open Daniela's stream. To see when she gets into number 2. All right. So if England plays separately for the Euros and whatnot, and World Cup, than the rest of the UK, does that mean there's also a Scottish, Welsh, and Northern Irish team? Hearing my posh voice? What? Oh, you never hear about the other kingdoms of United Kingdom. It looks like Daniela's getting into game number 2 now, so we will as well, and it looks like it will be on Fortress. Oh no! Tragic. Well, I just know that England has made it pretty far. I mean, like, they won in the long time ago, but they've made it pretty far in the past. But it usually seems like the Germans, Italians, Spanish, and French, you know, the big continental European countries seem to do a bit better. Anyway, we are here on Fortress, and Soxy's going to be in the blue as the Spanish to the east, and Classic Pro in the yellow as the Turks. The Inter-UK Cup, interesting. Pinnacle in terms of competitiveness? Isn't that the case? I mean, I would think that the Euros are more prestigious than the Premier League, Bundesliga, or La Liga. Envin? Hazır. To domestic club football? Yeah, that's what I never really understand, because it feels like European football is just so dominated by just a few teams that have literally all of the money and support. And it seems less about where you're from in those places. Like, we get that in America a little bit with, like, some of, like, the big national teams. So people still almost always support their local teams. Jam teams, isn't that the European one? Like the inter-European one, I guess? I mean, anyway, it's Fortress early game. Not Regicide Fortress for some reason, but it is Fortress. Yeah, that's what I thought. As far as Spanish versus Turks goes, it's a perfectly fine matchup. I think most people would say they're probably a bit more comfortable with Turks, as they still do like the Cav Archer Hussar thing better and have long-range gunpowder. But I still think that Conks can do a lot to take mid-game map control, and you have very, very good monks now. So I think that Spanish should be perfectly fine. Anyway, 24 pop-up here for Soxy. Looks like 24 pop-up for Classic Pro. Frowned upon to be so glory-seeking supporter of Manchester United, Chelsea, or Man City. Oh yeah, I mean that's the same thing as, you know, all the Patriots fans and Cowboys fans, or the bandwagon Lakers fans. Like, there's a joke that you have the archetype of a fan who's a Dallas Cowboys fan, a LA Lakers fan, an LA Dodgers / Yankees fan, and a I don't even know, Bruins fan. Like, people just support, like, the biggest, most popular teams, and they're usually made fun of. The English team? Well, yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of sexist bots out there. I mean, America, we have that whole thing with the WNBA right now, which is just like, on the one hand, it's becoming a lot more popular, but because it's becoming more popular, like, all the misogynistic stuff is going crazy with it. Oh. Okay, just gonna build a market right there. I guess you can maybe try and wall like that, give yourself a bit more space. That is reasonable enough, I guess. Speaking of supporting home teams, how much did the Bears win by us yesterday? $38-0. There we go. Just approaching the castle and dying. Oh yeah, that was very sad. Thinking a Premier League, you can trade on a regularly dubious basis. Korea, Japan, US colonies. That's true. Although people are becoming more and more fans of, like, the big popular European teams for football. I don't really watch baseball, but when I was a kid and I played baseball, I watched the Sox. So I'm much more of a Sox fan than a Cubs fan. But it's not worth being a Sox fan since I was a kid anyway, so yeah. Although it was really exciting when the Cubs were in the World Series, like in 2015 or so. Like, they had won for the first time in, like, 80 years. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, the American sports leagues are the most prestigious by far for the Americans, like the sports that Americans like watching / playing. I mean, obviously, we share the NHL with Canada. But the Canadian teams tend to not do that well anyway. Because right now, it's all about the frickin' Florida Panthers. All right, so second TC coming in here for each player. Bosaw coming in for blue. And some conquistadors are going to be on the way. Who play in the EFL? I'm afraid I do not know those things. Monastery coming in. Complicated? Well, yeah, I mean, they're still going to have the best players want to go to the most prestigious and most well-paying organizations possible. But, like, now basketball is becoming really popular all over the world. And now you're getting a lot of international players who are very good at basketball. And it was much less the case when I was growing up. But there really just isn't a basketball league that's even remotely comparable to the NBA. The pyramid of leagues at which... Ah, okay, yeah. Anyway, 3 TCs here for Classic Pro, so he is much more intensively focusing on the booming, as he only has 1 monk that is being made versus the conquistadors that are out on the field here for Soxy. And he's actually going to go for a couple of petards. It seems like Classic Pro is pretty well aware of this and is already starting these secondary house walls. Wait, what? Oh, I thought he was focusing the monk. Oh, delete, delete, delete. No way, yeah. I was like, no way you're getting that guy out at that point. The thing is, there isn't even that much exposed eco at this point. But it seems like 2 TCs are going to be the limit here for Soxy, and he might just try and go Imperial Age after this. But the thing is, his unique unit and the petards even cost food, which is... Did he just... Petard? No, that was a deletion. Well, the resources collected are at least for now even. Land's real petarded. When I was with my friends yesterday, he was... one of them was flabbergasted to learn of the original uncensored version of Let's Get It Started by the Black Eyed Peas, which is let's get the R word that rhymes with started. And it's so bad. It is like, it's probably the first song I've ever heard, because I hadn't listened to like the uncensored version in a while, where like the censored version makes more sense and is better than the uncensored version. It is just so weird. Anyway, I mean, killing 1 vill is nice, and you can cause some idle time, but you do have 2 monks nearby, and as they're going to be able to hop into the castles and the TCs, it really shouldn't be too much of an issue here for Classic Pro, as that gate is going to go down in just a moment. Still, this is not, completely ineffectual or anything like that from Soxy, as this is certainly causing a nuisance. But this, I think, is going to be kind of difficult to reconcile being indecisive. What is that, man? Oh, jeez. First, Jan Husasari is coming out. Already 2 big conversions, man. Oh my goodness. So many conversions. Alright, more farms incoming, and now we have almost as many conks for yellow as we do for blue. We'll join it after freaking join it. If there's any love and good. Oh, no. I mean, I was never really into pop music like that when I was growing up, so I kind of never got into the Black Eyed Peas fever. But I mean, there was a little bit when I was in middle school where, like, they were the band. Gold mining upgrade coming in. 36 on food, though, here for Classic Pro. Also going to expand over here to the west. And is there a world in which you can get a faster Imperial Age as Soxy? I don't even think so. Monastery is only just now in to start getting relics, and I feel like this is all just coming in way too late. Got a few more Janissaries coming in. Healing up the injured conquistadors is nice. The Turkish conquistadors. Wow, Yellow didn't even have Loom and he only lost one Vil. It's wild. It looks like castle number 2 is going to be on its way here for Soxy. And if he can get a faster Imperial Age, then it does feel like he still has a shot. Yeah, Jannies have 7 range. Well, before Elite. Elite still have 8 range. And it just feels like the Conquistador usage is a lot better for Classic Pro, and he has to convert them to get them. Oh, I don't like that castle. If you're... I guess maybe he's just thinking about relying on the fast imp, but like... If you're gonna YOLO castle, you might as well YOLO castle, you know what I mean? Wait, 82 to 58 villagers. Classic Pro's macro has been quite solid. Now, he doesn't have his Light Cav alive anymore, but I mean, he's going to get even more relics. I mean, at the very least, Blue should get 4 relics. Anyway, you can see the imp timing difference is going to be somewhere in the ballpark of 50 seconds, which is certainly significant in a Treb war, but the fact that you get the insta-bombard cannons is quite a big deal. Who are the biggest names in this week's edition? ACCM. Classic Pro. Viscon. Kingstone. Those guys. Has the castle been seen? Yeah. It was likely what triggered the rush up to Imperial Age. University coming up there at the back. And will we start to see those archery ranges coming out for the Cav Archers? What are we breaking down today? We're going to be breaking down food in our bellies with our stomach enzymes. Or something. I don't know, we're, got a Treb War incoming. Love the full stone wall to the side. You can just super safely build up and gather stone. More ranges coming up in the back here. Kind of weird how they're super far spread out like that. Systems of exploitation, oh jeez. Alright, chemistry comes in immediately. First Treb is on its way. And I guess a few more conch upgrades coming in. The Janissaries are going to look to launch a counterattack. But they will be spotted and killed by these Conquistadors, which are fully upgraded, by the way, as far as Castle Age goes. And these are the new Conquistadors that are a little bit more expensive. BT dubs. Remember, conchs fire faster than Jannies do, so the DPS is overall quite a bit higher. Even if they have 1 less attack. Anyway, Bombard Cannon and Trebuchet going to be immediately on the way here for Classic Pro. And there is another Siege Workshop incoming, as it is Treb City, USA. But the Cav Archer production has started. We got Bracer coming in. We got Bloodlines and Ballistics. And things are still looking mighty okay for Classic Pro, who's now 4,000 resources ahead. He's already got Handcart in. He's cruising. I think it's going to be difficult for the conchs to actually match up in a fight against these CA here. And honestly, it just feels like Turks are another CA focus civ, and there isn't enough reason to actually go for Janissaries anymore. Well, you're gonna need to do something. Okay, that... he needed to at least drive away the Bombard Cannons with his Conquistadors. Like, I don't think he could snipe the Bombard Cannon, not with Classic Pro paying attention. But I do think that he actually does need to prevent the Bombard Cannon from free-firing onto the Trebuchet. Like that. Except, again, you still have to be very careful. And the Spanish Bombard Cannons do fire faster, remember? 5.53 reload time compared to the 6.5. Artillery coming in nice and quick, though. That's going to be really great for the CP. But there aren't really many vills here with which to repair, so that's also a bit of an issue. Honk numbers also aren't especially impressive, and that's going to be rough considering the CA numbers are going to be climbing very, very rapidly in just a second. Oh, they sniped a bombard and the Vil. I mean, artillery's pretty sick. That Treb is going to fall, though. And that means the castle will stand at least a little while longer. And another bombard cannon coming out. Some more conquistadors on the way. And now it's bombard cannon volleyball, dodgeball, whatever. But you do have these two Trebs providing good, consistent damage here for Soxy. It's certainly not all ogre yet. But my concern is that just the longer this goes on, the more these cav archers are going to be in greater numbers and better upgraded. And I don't think you can actually force an engagement before Classic Pro's ready to crush. And that actually might already be the case. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be good enough at all here. The A are getting very well upgraded. They already have Thumb Ring in as well. Now, Sabahi might be denied. And it looks like it will. So that's something. It's quite the cannon corps indeed. That castle's going to go down mighty fast. There's just way too many cannons. Arthian Tic Tacs coming in. Dive in the bathroom video? That is not something I'm going to be very good at. I think Spirit of Law has already done a video on it. I was going to do a video on oysters. Yeah. It looks like it could be it here. I mean, again, the eco difference is just staggering. And Res Destroyed is also in favor of Classic Pro on top of everything else. Now you're going to try and go for Skirmishers as Soxy, but you're just losing way too much here. And this looks like the 2-0 for Classic Pro. Certainly somebody who could make a very deep run this week. I mean, the Bombard Cannon production was really, really sick from him. Able to get all those units going. And, I mean, with all of that mid-game aggression, Soxy got one villager kill. It was simply not enough, and Classic Pro takes the decisive 2-0 victory. Decisive. The letter D. Decisive. Alrighty. So, what's the next set? Running. Okay, this one might be live then. Well, we saw Running versus Terz last week, and that was actually a very close series, so I kind of wanted to cast that one today. Right. That. I think they are drafting now. I guess good old hamsters. And the exact same 3 maps. Ah, that's why you're talking about Yucatan. Yucatan's in the map pool for this tournament. Well, Scandi. Gold medals? Well, I am glad. Yes, it was running versus Terz last week as well. Is I didn't realize there was even stuff. Yeah, I just didn't realize stuff was happening earlier today, which is really unfortunate for you guys because I'm not casting those sets, and for me because it means that everyone else has already been online for a long time when I start casting these sets. It is a conundrum. Yeah, my apologies. All right. I'm going to take a quick break, guys. Be right back. Everyone else is casting Sudden Disaster? Well, I mean, except for Robo and Daniela, since they're hosting the tournament. Anyway, I just had to give Dash a treat for being a good boy and sitting when I told him to, so now I need to actually go wash my hands. But because my bathroom has been in disrepair since October of last year, I need to go back downstairs. Ah! But it did give me an opportunity to get another Korean walnut cookie. Because it just so happened that when I went to visit my friend yesterday, only a little ways down the street is the big Korean American grocery store I go to. And so it's like, well, I might as well go there and pick up some snacks for everybody. And they have like a bunch of different like bakeries and little restaurants and stuff. The cookie? Well, it's more the combination of ingredients together. No, not for you, Nuke Crypt. For my friends. Alright, migration is going to be game number 1 here once again. So the cookie? Yeah. It's like a little ball that has a walnut in it and bean paste. They're very yummy. I believe the Korean word is hodukwa. All right, 1 minute, guys, and we will be getting into Migration. I actually don't even see the civs anymore because it's just 3 question marks. So, I would guess Byzantines, Persians, maybe Saracens, maybe Mongols. Actually, would Chinese be a good civ? I've really been wondering if Chinese are like a good water civ now. Because they still have a really sick eco, and they have one of the best dock tech trees in the game. You're in varieties of nuts. I'm afraid I am not an expert. But I feel like most water maps that we see played are just too fast for Koreans still. But maybe something like Migration is going to be a bit more tenable. Alrighty. Nope, it is exactly what I expected. Alright, everybody, here we are, game number 1 between Terz and Running, round 2. Fight! We'll have Turks in the green as the Persians to the west and to the east in the purple. As the Byzantines, it is Running. So, Byzantines, Persians, classic AOC Civ matchup. Both of these civs are going to be very good. That said, the thing with Byzantines here is that I do feel like your options are a little bit more limited because you can't really go for 2 dock defensive galley because that is like using 0 civ bonuses. So it feels like you want to go for something either like very aggressive, forward dock fire ships, or you try and go for a fast castle and just fight for the middle. Both of those things you're going to be very good at, but you're also a little bit more predictable. Persians can do anything, right? You can do literally the exact same things Byzantines can, but you can also go for the galley-centric play. Either aggressive galley or the 2 dock defensive galley that I'm a big fan of. So, let's see what these guys have in store. Byzantines are going to be much better as the game goes on, though. They'll always have that going for them. And T. West would consider me a heretic for ever doubting the power of Byzantines. Last week, Running did win versus Terz. I think it was 2-1. And then Running went on to get second place, only narrowly losing a series to ACCM. Hello, Bannister Esquire. So let's see how well he can do this week, as Terz is once again going to be a very solid opponent. Dock coming in for him, but Persians are going to be even faster. Fishing ship, again, coming out a little bit faster with the power of the Persian start. I don't know why I'd build an outpost there. Yeah, there you go. Houses make more sense than outposts. I don't even, like, he must be having the outpost hotkey close to his house hotkey. But for me, it would be BE is to build a house, and BO is to build an outpost, so that's not a mistake I would ever make, personally. I'd make plenty of other hotkey mistakes, though. Still, that Persian start is just smooth, smooth, smooth. I mean, you're going to be already half a fishing ship ahead. You're already half a villager ahead. Just going to be getting a nice early advantage in the economy. However, the thing that I feel like you don't want to do right now as Terz is get into a fire ship battle. So if I'm Terz, I feel like I have even more incentive to go for 2-dock galley. Or unless you want to go really aggressive. Otherwise, you're making fire ships. Or I guess you could go for like the full-blown rush that we saw from Soxy in the last game. You could also do that. But yeah, if you're playing the fire ships into Byzantines, it just feels like you're allowing Byzantines to play into their strengths. Which you don't want to do if you can help it. Believe it or not. Said, Running has been able to keep his dock production a little bit more consistent. He's caught right back up in the fishing ship numbers. And here is dock number 2 also coming in here for the purple player. Dock number 2 for our Persians player Terz of the hamsters variety. Salve. Another house there, and clearly nobody's that eager to click up. Both players content to add in more fishing ships for now. If I'm running, I'm definitely going to be going for that fast castle approach that we saw. I mean, basically, I'd do the same thing that Classic Pro did. Because Byzantines are going to be a very strong civ for going, just like Japanese are, going for like the fire ships in Castle Age, and then you can just go for like monks and spearmen, take control of the middle of the map. And then you can rely on just how good your fire ships are. That said, Terz is looking to click up a bit sooner. Already a little bit ahead in the resources. And let's see what the plan is. Is it going to be for a full-blown fast castle? I don't know if he clicked up slow enough for it to be a fast castle. I don't think he'll have the resources, but I could be wrong. You know, Running is almost certainly going for a fast castle. They have over 10 fishing ships. The Savar change? Yeah, I think it's a good change. It's still 150 food and gold cheaper than Paladin, and Savars in general are slightly preferable to Paladins. So, I mean, Persians are still going to be very, very good in that regard. Yeah, good little nerf. I do think Persians still need a bit of a tweaking in early game hybrid, though. Otherwise, they're fine. Yeah, you're getting close, though, in terms of resources, and the transport ship is certainly indicative that it's going to be for an FC thing. It's going to be really close in terms of resources, though. But, I mean, obviously, if Terz gets this off, it's going to be a super good build for him. But I don't think he's got... No, he might have the wood. I mean, he's going to have, like, a little bit of idle time, but this should still be a very solid FC build. Really, really nicely done. This is clean, man. You can see that Running is still just working his way up, plodding along. Gonna have 3 docks for himself. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be like, what, 15 seconds idle time? 16 seconds? It's still a very good build for him. Persian eco early game is fantastic, and it will be for the fire ships. So, again, do I like this? I mean, again, it feels like you're allowing Byzantines to play fire ships and be happy about it, which I don't really understand. But you're still getting a very good castle age time. You're still going to be fighting for the middle, so, I mean, it's not like it's a bad build by Terz. Although we will have 13 fishing ships to 8. 5 more fishing ships here for the Byzantines player. And he's on his way up as well, but it is going to be around a minute advantage in the castle age timing here for Terz. Although the resources collected should swing right back to being in favor of running. Now, I believe Terz is sticking on the 2 docks. I believe I'm incorrect, and Terz is adding in the 3rd dock now. But this is expensive, right? Because purple is also going 3 docks. Except he isn't investing into all of these buildings in the middle, so he's going to be much better able to afford navy. Got a spearman out. I mean, is this going to be for a monastery, maybe? Not entirely sure. Well, research in loom does make your villagers harder to kill, and it's actually going to be a forward TC first. Alrighty. Transport ship now coming in from running. And no major engagements thus far. There's the T-port. The T-posing T-port. Just like floats along perpendicular to the water. And its sails are off to the side. Perfect T-posing ship. Alright, monastery follow-up there as well. But again, running should have significantly better production of his navy. War galley coming in for him right away as well. You have a demo ship on the way. And he himself is getting loom. Bill's going to be landing here in the middle. That said, this looks like some pretty good scouting here, and we'll immediately see the barracks and the quick balls in there. I think running must have seen Terz's scout. Well, War Galley going to come in here in a moment, so the little ship is going to have to sail away from the bigger army of ships, or navy. Terz is still a bit more interested in fighting here in the middle, but this is a beautiful spot here. Running, he did damage to the enemy fire galley. He has to have known that the enemy ships were nearby, but this is really, really good for Terz. As I always say, like, these fishing ships are so much more vulnerable to fire ships than they are to fire galleys. It's just like a comical difference. And that's already going to be 5 fishing ship kills. I don't know why this fire ship doesn't feel like fighting. Bowsaw coming in now for green. It's already in for purple. That said, running does get the kill there. Some spearmen are on the way. Those are actually trapped in there. They're going to need to delete a house. And still can't produce any more scouts yet, though. As the food income is still a bit rough. But on the flippity flip, it's going to be Terz who is out of position this time with his own ships, and he will be losing a few of them right there, and the transport ship if he's not careful. Now, transports are faster than fires, but, I mean, Terz is simply not paying attention where he needs to. Scout fight here. How is this scout hitting this scout? That does not make any sense. Oh, green actually would have won the scout fight, but the spearman was right there. So both players do lose a scout right there, and so far, Terz isn't really doing anything with that stable. Still, it is more fishing ships for running, who is still slightly ahead in the resources. And being able to fight back here on the water is going to be quite nice, although that's another kill in favor of Terz. He's already got 2 monks on the field. He's actually already going forward here to start taking the relics, and he's even going to start to go for some conversions, as there is no stable here yet for our purple player running. I mean, there aren't really any scouts to actually start sniping villagers, because again, the eco is just set up to make ships. It's going to be some more units going down. But green here is not pursuing further. Seems like the multitasking might just be a little bit better for running right now. Looks like that was a conversion on a villager. Always a fun one. And running gonna get another nice hit there. He takes a slight lead here in the KD. And now this just should be a bunch of units getting converted back and forth because there still isn't anything that kills monks very effectively. It does indeed look good for running. He is still nicely ahead in the ship numbers, although that transport ship is also going to go down, as well as another fishing ship snipe. Looks like Green is not paying attention very well, though. Just did not scout that whole area for the fishing ships. And it's going to be a lot of dead fire ships there. That said, Terz is still slightly ahead in the villager numbers, and he's got his TC already over here on the mainland, although if you look at the difference in idle time, really not as much of an advantage as you'd probably like. Equal res versus Persians is good, and running is just continuously making spearmen. It's tough to keep up, because you just don't even have enough monks to go for all the conversions, although that's a nice little engagement for Terz. And it's still just 7 fishing ships, though, for running that are just cruising here. That said, because Terz was just so significantly faster in getting the second TC down, he's actually kind of able to keep up in the eco. It's just saying that you can manage to keep up an eco when you're playing Persians versus Byzantines just doesn't feel good. And remember, guys, Persians have a terrible monastery tech tree. You don't have atonement. You don't have sanctity. Obviously no redemption, whereas Byzantines have fantastic monks, only missing herbal medicine. There's even a second monastery coming in, so it is going to be that monk plus spearman play. So, what's the next step in your master plan? Alright, demo's coming in here. Oh my god, that was an insane hit! Alright, Terz. Alrighty. That was what Treebeard would call a fine hit. So we got Atonement in, we have Sanctity coming in. First Mangonel is on the way, but there's Redemption too here for running, so it seems like he's kind of able to do everything he needs to in this situation, even though that's going to be another really good... Well, I guess one great demo hit deserves a very bad demo hit. Alright, Light Cav is coming in, but there are still so many Spearmen on the field, it's going to be tough to actually get to the bunks. Where those guys are going. I guess they might be looking for relics or converting that villager or something. But now we're actually back up to 12 fishing ships as purple. And again, it's only 24 seconds idle TC time for running. His macro is excellent. Still there could end up getting sniped. Not really going to be the end of the world, though. Even Husbandry coming in. But it's really the water. 8 fire ships to 1. That's enabling all of these fishing ships coming in. So it's not just you're winning water, right? You're getting something out of it. The dock idle time? I mean, it's going to be extremely low for both players. Like, neither, like, consistently using their docks. As they're also spending resources in the middle. That is indeed what's panning out. I think it's one more fishing ship there. I'm not convinced on this one, guys. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. That is a huge momentum swing in favor of running. Holy cow. Convert a Mangonel, use it to snipe another Mangonel and a Scorpion. Yeah, that looks like some hashtag value if I've ever seen it. This is where Byzantines start to look very strong. Having those good monks is so critical here for middle of the map control, which is why Dravidians have kind of annoyed me on this map, is because you just don't have that good of monks. Where it feels like it would be helpful to have very good monks. Okay, you do snipe some farms, but still, it's going to be the third TC down faster here for running on top of his soon-to-be 10 million fishing ships. You know, give or take 2 or 3. Long swordsmen and rams. Now, wouldn't that be a play? Still, a lot of spearmen on the field. Just not convinced that you're really able to keep up with this here as Terz. I guess the resources destroyed are quite similar, and Terz is actually still nicely ahead in eco. But it just feels like running's able to put out so many more units on the field. Scorpion here going to try and get a little bit more value. That is already a converted monk, though, for Persians, as it's now way easier to see in a lot of matchups whose monks are converted from whom. Opposed to almost all the monks looking identical. 6 like have. We also have Wheelbarrow coming in to help the farmers, and yes, there are starting to become quite a few farmers here for Terz. Eco balance is quite off, though. You don't need that many on gold, obviously. And now we have 3 stables coming in for running, so it could be looking for a big old camel switch. That just killed his own unit there. That monk's going to be having a rough day. Remember, both Atonement and Redemption are inherent to the civilization and not the monk itself. So if you convert, if you have either or both of those upgrades and you convert a monk without those upgrades, you'll still have access to it. Whereas upgrades like block printing, sanctity, and fervor are inherent to the monks themselves, and theocracy is to the civilization or to the player, and I don't know about illumination. Anyway, forward castle coming in here from Terz. 0 stone at all for running. Oh boy, but I just don't think your army's good enough here. Maybe if you can get some conversions. I mean, those are some good Scorpion hits, and the camels are going to be just kind of running around and arguably just going to get converted. Uh-oh, this could be the exact fight that the Mr. Hamsters is looking for. Okay, Castle actually does come in over there, and this is an excellent fight running. Absolutely caught off guard by this. The Vills are coming forward, but as soon as those Lycav get back to the front lines... but the more camel reinforcements are coming in, but is it enough? The monks are wandering forward here as well. Oh, the army numbers are so similar, but a lot of Running's military is in Navy right now. At the very least, there should be some Vills dying, but this is getting really, really awkward here. As that castle... He just killed 2 of his own Vills! I mean, I think the castle is still probably fine. At least he gets 2 enemy villagers that time. The Vil numbers are getting lower than shouty, though, but I still think it is okay, as Terz is going to get that Persian castle down and will immediately go for War Elephants. Just kidding. But he is going to win the game. Excellent game number 1 there. A bold move there from Terz. He took the perfect fight. Running was definitely caught flat-footed. The light cav were coming in. There were enough monks left over from Terz that they just weren't in a strong enough position. And despite not investing as much into the water, Terz was still able to take that decisive win here on the land. And then Running was just kind of checkmated, as he didn't have any stone for his own castle, nor was he close enough to the Imperial Age because of the camel switch. As the camels definitely did not pan out. And of course, Persian player is ahead in eco. Well done. Oh, whoops. Sorry, Terz. You're both German players who show up on my stream relatively often. How am I supposed to tell the difference? Alright, that is going to player 2. That is Persians over Byzantines. So that was the first pick versus the third pick, but in a best of 3, it really doesn't matter all that much. Oh my goodness, Terz is he's cooking something here, guys. Gonna be another AOC Civ matchup. So that makes me happy. But I'm gonna be a little confused by this one. Why do I have a message? Oh. I'm still an admin for John Slow's tournament, so I'm still getting sudden disaster notifications, even though I'm not an admin for that tournament. RIP. Terz did win game number 1 at the very least. We'll have to see if he can keep it up here in game number 2. Let's see, guys. Pay me to rig what? But yeah, look at this one, guys. We're going to have Running here in the purple as the Chinese, so like the best Arabia Civ at high levels, or close to it. Oh, it's the bunny rabbits! But what on earth are Teutons doing here? I mean, The power level of these civs on Arabia should just be way skewed in favor of the Chinese. Doubt must win. I don't know. Well, are people tuning in now? No idea. But yeah, I think Viper's just been phosphoruing. But yeah, I haven't really seen much of Sudden Disaster yet. We'll cast more of it in the upcoming week. 2 weeks. All that stuff. Again, sorry I was late today, but hopefully we're going to be getting back on course for the rest of the week. Are good for Phosphor? What? Infant? Oh, whoa. Okay, well, I mean, this doesn't really have anything to do with Teutons, but, I mean, it's more the fact that laming Chinese is usually good. And he's also taking a couple of geese. If he follows this up with like a gigantic tower rush from the old days, that would be pretty darn awesome for Terz. The other elephant is there in the back. Heckin' love that situation. Is it not possible to block lames now? That is actually a good question, because now that units are much better at slipping past each other, then yeah, that's actually really bad. I mean, I've always been of the opinion that scouts shouldn't be able to attack the elephants in the same way that they're not able to attack deer or chickens. But that actually might be necessary. Because I still stand by the fact that this is too big of an early game swing, that yes, there is risk to it, but it's like you're playing solitaire, right? It's so uninteractive, and it can be such a huge, huge swing, and you have no guaranteed investment, because some scout HP isn't really worth all that much at all. Okay, at least you're going to get a couple of geese back. And already, I think that there's almost no counterplay to getting lamed in a ton of situations. Yeah. But if you can't even block, which means that even if your scout is in the right position, it doesn't matter. Oh, man. 30 seconds idle time already for running. That is not the super buttery smooth start with Chinese you're looking for. And at the very least, the chicken/hare version of Arabia shouldn't really be that much. Like, it shouldn't be as good for Chinese because they like being able to push in a bunch of deer. Yeah. Again, it's only the only laming I don't like is the scouts stealing the boar. Any other form of laming, like sending villagers forward, stealing. Like, again, stealing some sheep equivalents can also be pretty uninteractive, but it's just not as, like, it's not as huge a swing. The boar stealing is a massive swing. Well, there is skill to it. I mean, there are reasons that people like MBL are so good at it. It's just, there is not, There are other things than skill involved, right? There's a lot more luck involved than most other AoE interactions. A 2-boar swing? No, I think it's a 22-boar swing, Hans. I think that checks out. All right, so it is going to be for some sort of Men-at-Arm opening here from Mr. Hamsters. And running clicks up on 24 villagers. Like, this is kind of like the Chinese in the old days, where you're just slower up to feudal age. You can see that the resources collected are ahead for running. I plundered 25 boars. At one point, it's also a point in the game in which, like, it's very, very early on. Oh, and he's going to come forward, too. Because so far, I haven't really seen anything that's, like, been especially Teuton-y with this build. I mean, the lame against Chinese, I think, is... Especially if you can't block it, I would do that every single time against Chinese in a tournament setting. But yeah, this is, like... Guys, this is like watching old Chinese on Arabia, back when they weren't considered a top civ. At least not most of the time. Oh, those vills are going to try and hide there. Really nicely done for Terz. I think maybe part of my meh about the laming is also that other forms of laming where you send villagers and militia forward, that's... What? Oh, he calculated it. Oh, he calculated. Oh my goodness, guys. Terz is just going hard here. Range now coming in. Gonna need to go for the one range defensive skirms, but that's gonna be worse now than before. Just one Vill on gold, and that's probably just to pick up the fletching upgrade, as you should probably just switch into your own skirmishers at this point. Okay, yeah. Don't want to do that. Bidax is still coming in for running. Really bigger than the swing of the boar. That isn't... what do you mean by that? Alright, Skirmy Bro is out, and it's going to be the forward skirmishers, but the men-at-arms are going to be certainly a difference maker. Is much closer. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Scout finally goes down right there, and you are still 200 resources ahead here as running. Yeah, builds are tighter, and falling behind more in the early game is more, okay, you're totally dead than it used to be. Like, games are more snowbally than they used to be because players are just so tight with their executions. And that's just, you know, the skill level of players is higher. I mean, 8 army to 3 right now. I love the men-at-arm pressure. Again, I don't know what is, makes this especially great with Teutons. I mean, this would look exactly the same with a generic civilization. That said, it's good. And I guess you can add in the farms more easily, which is always nice, but that's just Teuton stuff. It's 3 farms instead of 2. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Teutons. They're literally one of my favorite civs in the game. But they feel too balanced for Arabia right now. They feel like they actually have downsides, unlike most Arabia civs. And to be fair to Chinese, this is their downside that isn't usually exploitable these days, but with a bit of a lucky lame, that can work. Oh yeah, he's towering the woodline. Whoops. This is what happens when it's getting covered up by the UI on my screen. But yeah, only the one lumber camp there. Terz knows this. Their armor 1 age earlier. A while ago, I would have said that it's way too strong for men-at-arms to have an extra melee armor in feudal age, but literally Malay have that, and Malay are insane. Yeah, it's like, well, Malay exist and Romans exist, so you know. The thing with Teutons is just they're too balanced. They feel like a fair civ. I mean, that's normally what I want, is the C civs nerfed at this point, but would slap? I mean, it still feels like a lot. Similar bonus, but the defense is extra rough though because villagers become significantly worse in fighting them, which is definitely an issue in men-at-arm fights. But I mean, yeah, it's just Teutons are generally speaking close to unviable on open maps. Yeah, again, Burmese are a balanced civ where you have a good men-at-arm rush, but it's the extra attack, although good, isn't like unstoppable. Map 2, I know, it's rough. Anyway, running is still trying to take the very best fights he can. We did have the second forward range from Terz. Oh, there's still a good A-tier arena civ for sure. No, I mean, if the only solution for Teutons is to give them light cav, then or husbandry, then I feel like Age of Empires' general balance is way too off. And I do think that, again, maybe just giving them the extra armor for their infantry and scouts and starting in feudal age instead of castle age. If that isn't enough, then again, we just need to look at nerfing the best civs. Because again, why play Teutons on Arena when you can play Burgundians and Bohemians? Which are, like, way better. Anyway, Running is doing a great job of just taking the best fights he can and trying to hang in there. But look at this, he's behind the Teuton player in Eco. Them cheaper monks, but that's already a Portuguese bonus. Who also, again, why play Teutons in Arena when you can play Portuguese? But archer armor is nowhere near as big as melee unit armor. That's why we don't have a civ that gets the free cav defense upgrades. And we gave the civ the free infantry armor bonuses that otherwise isn't really the best early game civ. And even then, it's a bonus that feels too strong. Whereas the free attack upgrades for Magyars and the free armor upgrades for Koreans feels much more like a strong but fair bonus. Anyway, look at all these farms here. And I mean, that's using Teutons, for sure. Running, though, is going to be looking towards Castle Age. Isn't unbeatable. The reason that Malay and Romans feel so oppressive in so many situations is because they have an amazing eco plus the super good options. Yeah, I also think that it is too strong on Malay as well, but for a slightly different reason. Anyway, Terz is going to try and wall himself in the corner. But so far, very, very solid game here for Green. Again, getting an early eco lead over Chinese is huge. With way more food collected, but later. Yeah, I mean, that is not that uncommon of a dynamic because you are spending... If you think about it like villagers, let's say 40 through 47... you have making a bunch of extra farms. That's a lot of food and wood invested, food into the villagers and then wood into the farms. It's going to take a little while to pay off, which delays your castle age in the short run, but gives you the better resources once you get there. Are too far away from being balanced? I think they're too far away from being an interesting civ, but I think that you remove husbandry. I think already the civ is in a much better spot, and if that isn't enough, then you nerf the food bonus to not apply to farms, and just apply to everything else. But I'd take away husbandry first, personally. %'s such a weird number, though. Oh my goodness. Everything works 4% faster. Someone is going to look at that and be like, what the heck is this? Anyway, Castle Age is in. We have triple stable knights coming out here for Running. I mean, he's going to really try and go for all of these ranged units. He sees the archers there. He knows he's not going to be investing that much into spearmen. Numbers? Oh, I mean, I think it's totally fine if you have niche numbers. I just think it looks really goofy. Right, knights just have bloodlines and +1 defense, but you're going to have a lot of them in the very near future. That said, Green is full-walled. Those vills are very, very slowly going to die. And right now, Castle Age is in. What is the next step for Terz? Obviously crossbow plus bodkin, because you have archers. That's like the unit you have at the moment. What else? You got, okay, it's just Bodcrow Saw for now. It's a lot of vills on gold, though. We're going to see a second TC. Where has he been gathering? Has he? Oh, yeah, he's been gathering stone forward. Duh. We've literally just been looking at it. Wait, where'd the other vill go? Did the knights kill him? I have no idea. So even after a good Teuton start? Because Running still didn't actually lose many villagers. But he's still behind a lot in terms of resources. He's also taking good fights, so he's way ahead in resources destroyed. This vision... Yeah, I don't know. My second TC coming in. And Chinese are still a good civ. Like, for Chinese, as far as their balance goes, it feels like if you just make starts less consistent and maps less good, that would already go a very long way into nerfing Chinese. And if you enable, like, early game aggression to be better as well, that also would nerf Chinese. I mean, they're a very difficult civ to balance. Feel goofy? Oh, you bet it felt goofy. Anyway, you get the extra melee armor now is Terz. And you also have the conversion resistance. I think that... Yeah, that was a successful conversion just before the monk died. That's another stable. Remember, one of the stables is forward and one of them is back home, so it's a little bit tough to group up your reinforcements. That said, running is surviving, right? He's got his second TC down. He's gathering stone. He can add in a third TC to secure another gold mine whenever he wants. And if we look at the maps... Ooh, this is pretty ugly, though. 2 forward golds. Knights are enjoying attacking a palisade wall, and this is actually kind of awkward here for Terz to deal with. Monk isn't quite out just yet. Oh, something fox in the chicken coop. Oh, nice move here. Now, the knights can't be walled in. Terz, hello? Oh, wow. That is a really, really good move there for running. Now, the TCs do have bodkin on them, but no ballistics, and those are Teuton TCs, in fact. But still, great maneuver there. And this is a very uncomfortable situation here for Terz. Goes right after the high HP knight. Nicely done there. And the overall upgrades are basically identical, just you have the husbandry in for Chinese. But that's where the Teuton extra melee armor comes in. Alright, this is going to be a couple of conversions here, I think. What is that lack of insta? Oh my goodness, that is annoying for Terz. He's now behind by 8 villagers as the third TC is indeed going to secure the secondary gold for our purple player. And if we look at Terz's POV, he has no idea about that TC coming in. And right now, it's running who is really starting to ramp up here in the resources. And, you can have the good eco and disruption as much as you like, but if you can't take good fights, then it doesn't matter. And a lot of this has simply come down to the fact that running is absorbing the pressure. He's trying to deal with any of the, any and all of the stuff that's being thrown at him. He's going to have a castle here in just a second, and then you can get to Chukonu plus Knight. And that is going to be a very difficult army composition to deal with. Get a castle like up on this hill over here. Or maybe up on that hill over there, depending on what you want. He also has wheelbarrow in. He's grabbing bowsaw now. And I think this is looking very bad for running. So counter that. To be fair, Chinese really don't have a good answer to Teutonic Knight, Bombard Cannon, Siege Onager. I'm trying to think of things that Chinese do well against that, and I'm coming up blank, guys. Alright, third TC going to come in here at the front, but those villagers going down is giving the eco lead right back here to running, who is, again, it's all about the good fights that he's taking here. Raids, not if you're fortified walled. Oh, I was thinking he was going to go for a defensive castle, but running saying, well, if I'm taking good fights, let's keep taking good fights and end this game now. Forward castle coming in, and this is likely going to be a very bad situation, as there are the monks here for purple. The upgrades are good enough on the knights. He's trying to fall back, but this is simply not going to be successful for Terz. And again, no matter how good of a start you have, it's the fact that running able to largely absorb the pressure. Yes, his eco is idle, but having an idle eco is much better than having a dead eco. And now that castle's in. Terz is running out of army at 16 knights to 5 on top of the castle that's literally on his face. And a really, really good game so far here from running. These knights are not doing anything useful in the counterattack. And I guess they're causing idle time, but even so, this is quite rough. We have some chucks on the way. A second, going pikeman. Yeah. Yeah, the split production is kind of tough. Taught Robo to say Mango Tango. Mango Tango is a great one. The mango, the tango. That poor Nightman did not know what to believe in. No, Terz isn't giving up yet, but the score difference is obviously quite telling, as we're looking at probably around double the resources destroyed this game for purple. And we'll likely go to another game number 3, as these two friends and teammates, man, they're showing to have some very close and competitive series. Yeah, no real path to victory in this one for Terz, I think. The crossbowman upgrade also didn't really do anything for Terz, which was quite weak in early Castle Age. Is right there. G to the G, and running ties up the series at 1-1. You see, like, overall units trained is very similar. It's just the fights that were taken by purple. You did have that faster Castle Age time as well. Of course, 95 kills to 37 deaths, even with the better eco. I mean, other than Terz not collecting any stone, he was ahead in everything else, and at times by a significant amount. He had the better tech tree, but it really came down to taking those good fights. Eco? I mean, it wasn't really even like the Chinese eco. I mean, although it did help keep running afloat in this game, so to say. Yeah, I mean, again, the Chinese eco was very helpful, but it's not like he just snowballed a super early lead in that regard. Anyway, that is Chinese over Teutons, which means that the last map is going to be Regicide Fortress, or not Regicide Fortress, just regular Fortress. And it's going to be another AOK matchup. I love it. Really good. It was a very good game. Feels weird. Yeah, it does feel like Aztecs can kind of do that aggression a little bit better than Teutons can. But yeah, no. Yeah, I do think that the American civs don't really feel as strong as they should at the moment. That just might be me. Anyway, guys, last game of the day. I know it's, again, another kind of short stream, but we'll be back tomorrow earlier, and it should be much more normal length. Anyway, running is going to be here in the purple as the Mongols to the west of Fortress. And to the east in the green as the Saracens, it is going to be Terz. Need to be faster? I don't know. It would feel really weird. Maybe you can reduce their food cost back down to 20. Maybe increase the speed of feudal age eagles to the same as castle age eagles, and increase the castle age eagle warrior speed by 0.5. So it goes from 1.1 for eagle scouts to 1.15, and then I think it's 1.2 for the eagle warrior. Make that 1.25, and then it's 1.3 for the elite chicken suit men. Switch back to AoE 2. What are they doing? At the other civs? I really think that... I just doesn't really seem like they are interested in doing many nerfs at this point. Black Forest? Well, it seems to be what they enjoy playing. Seems like they don't like grinding 1v1 Arabia. People mad? Yep, that's the issue.
Çekerim.
They could ban Arabia. I mean, I think that they just don't like playing the 1v1 ladder. Estadaton. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of interesting. Because you don't see these civs on this map a lot. Remember, Mamelukes were nerfed. I guess Saracens still have a better boom. It's really weird to see two civs that you don't go for unique unit fast imp or monk golems. I mean, I guess Saracens can do that, but they're typically better civs if you want to do that play. Nor do you have a super strong eco. So it's like neither of the things that you typically associate with this map. You have having shame associated with it. I mean, I just feel like it's overplayed. And I just don't like all the fish boom stuff. Anyway, they're both up on 23, so a little bit faster than average, which I guess is 24. More farms coming in here for running, and again, I'm very curious as to how this is going to play out. Like, which civ can we say has the better late game? It's hard to say. I think Saracens still might be like a little bit stronger, but their Mamluks did just get nerfed. Which is not how I like to see the Mamluks nerfed, by the way. They're reducing their HP instead of making the elite upgrade more expensive. Because Mamluks were basically fine back when you also had to pay for zealotry. And they just gave them zealotry for free, basically. Which I overall like, but I think you just needed to make elite Mamluk more expensive because of it. Make it like 1,000 food, 750 gold. Triple boar lure scout kill game with Frank throwing axes. Oh, that's fun. That's whimsical. Anyway, Terz using some market shenanigans here with the Saracens. He's going to sell some stones, so he has enough for Castle Age. Normally, you cannot do that without at least gathering a little bit of gold. Good now? No idea. Still don't see them picked, though. Like, it's one thing if a unit can be viable in, like, mixed rating BF games where, like, any unit can be played. Versus... Okay, are you actually ever going to use these over a potentially better option? Doing Deva Pala? Bengalis are, they're just a very straightforward and easy campaign civ. You just boom up, build elephants and maybe Rathas, and then you just steamroll everything. Anyway, eco upgrades are coming in. Actually selling even more stone, but I guess just using the market there. Very relaxed experience indeed. Touch siege onagers are so niche. Well, that's why I think that increasing the projectile speed to make it a little bit harder to dodge would be really nice for the entire mangonel line. And rocket carts. They need to be better than hand cannons, and hand cannons are almost always easier to tech into, so there has to be some extra reason to go for the throwing axeman. And one of the biggest advantages for throwing axemen is that they are not weak to skirmishers. And they still do that job quite nicely. But at the same time, hand cannons are a lot easier to tech into, and they're a much harder counter to infantry. Anyway, Castle Age coming in, and I imagine we're just going to see each player boom. Except, are you going to need to buy back some stone here.
نعم. أمر.
For Franks? I mean, yeah, you're mostly looking to counter halbs, or camels. And, I don't know, are throwing axemen better than hand cannons against camels? Probably. But it's fairly close. And again, it's oftentimes just not worth the money you need to invest into it. Like, yeah, throwing axemen are also per cost much cheaper than hand cannoneers, especially on gold. But to get the elite throwing axeman upgrade in bearded axe, you're paying so much gold up front that it has to be quite a long-term thing. Whereas hand cannons don't require any upgrades other than chemistry. Yeah, both are just booming. It's a bit of an odd civ matchup for this map. Again, both of these civs feel too, like, fair. Like, you just don't have overwhelming early Imperial Ages or economies. Feel tempo. Oh, tempo-ier. I mean, Saracens can get a better early imp timing with the market. But it's there because they otherwise die to skirmishers. Because their best units, otherwise, the Elephant Archer and the Ratha both take bonus damage from skirmishers. And skirmishers are also good against monks. Anyway, running does have a stable, so he could invest into some scout cavalry if he wants to, but it's going to be difficult to sustain villager production in that instance. Terz with some more market usage, nobody with any relics just yet. And yeah, it's just a very strangely passive game. Also, it's crazy how much more balanced Mongols feel when they don't have a Steppe Lancer early Castle Age timing. I mean, you still have Steppe Lancers as an option in, like, early Imperial Age, but against Saracens, that feels like a terrible idea. Yep. Less hunt than average. I mean, with Mongols, I really do think it's just Steppe Lancers. Well, I mean, there's also no wheelbarrow to almost having wheelbarrow, and just the TC timings being a little bit better. But yeah, macro for running just seems to be decent enough. Fourth TC coming in for green, though. Build timing? Yes, but that's always been the case, right? Mongols weren't an S tier Arabia pick for when Steppe Lancers weren't, like, that great. Nor did you see them spammed all the time in tournaments, unless there was, like, a hunt-heavy map. Like, they're still very good, right? You can sometimes just Mongol your way to victory, but they felt like a much fairer civ. Anyway, running's macro is obviously quite nice here. And there's the fourth TC for purple. And running has one monk on the field, but Terz is being active with his scout cavalry. And the first Albert Hajum is on the way. Lancers? I do agree about that. Firsty now coming in for running. And the Mangudai numbers are going to be slowly climbing here. And for two units that are both very slow to switch into, I guess the Mangudai are even faster because they don't cost food? I guess? Mangudai and SO this game? Mangudai Siege Onager against counterweight Siege Onager Mameluke would be quite the matchup. Matchup where everything dies instantly. Oh, nice snipe there here from running. Got the stable coming in. And it just seems to be a consistent 400 resources collected lead here for running. All right, look at this. Running, trying to go for the forward relic. He's going to have ballistics here in just a moment. Already, the monk is out over here, though, and there's no bodkin in. What a weird situation. Like, look how mirrored this all is. One monk, the scout's going to try and snipe the monk. And then you have the unique, but the insta for running. Insta. And both units are the same movement speed, but obviously the Mangudai have the greater range. And now ballistics is in. You got handcart coming in as well for running. But if the Mamluks can close the gap, nice snipe there. And Mamluks aren't nearly as upgrade reliant as the Mangudai are, and that's going to be quite a few dead Mangudai, as Terz is going to be taking a better engagement there. Wait a minute, if these Mamluks have 120 HP right now with Bloodlines and the bonus in, what's their imp HP? Because it was 130 in AOC. Now it's 133 after they changed Zealotry, so they had 3 more HP than they did in AOC. Like, I know they nerfed the Mamluk HP, but is it now only going to be like 125 with Elite? I have no idea. Anyway. Looks like Turks is going to be closer to the Imperial Age as he's catching up in resources. And still can be back and forth, but much, much greater commitment here to the mid-game from running, and that is going to slow down his Imperial Age time as one would expect in that situation. Nice snag there, but... Well, here's the deal. Terz is going to be faster to imp, but... The Mangudai numbers are climbing faster, and he isn't going to have any map control when he hits Imperial Age. And I think as more upgrades come in, the Mangudai are going to do better, relatively speaking, as they're going to continue to outrange the Mamluks. Because Mamluks, both regular and elite, only have 3 range. Alright, 5th TC even coming in here for Terz. Massive for Terz. I mean, yeah, it's going to be tough for running to ever take any good fights, and this castle actually might be in a very exposed position, as we have Bimaristan coming in. Honestly, Bimaristan's super nice to have. It turns all of your units into berserks, basically. All of the nearby units into berserks. Actually, slightly better. It's 45 HP a minute to 40, I think. But I mean, we know... I'm sure you guys know full well that these are 2 of the very best late-game civs out there. The 2 civs that deal all the damage. Have all the expensive units. I just like that we have this best of 3 on good maps that is just entirely made up of like OG civs that feel by and large balanced. All right, Trebuchet on the way. +4 defense, of course, is going to be a big deal. But like I said, the fact that green doesn't have the map control means that this is not the end of the world for running. He does need to get bloodlines, though. You might have forgotten that. Because he has husbandry in. Likes the AoE civ. Wait, is this entire tournament only AOC civs? Yeah, because we still only... Actually, we only had AOC civs picked. Oh, that's awesome! Oh, no wonder. No wonder. I was like, I mean, it's just really surprising that we'd see these civs on this map when there's so many better new options. Same thing with Arabia. Oh, man. That's funny. I was really wondering about some of these civ picks. I mean, I was liking them, but... Oh, man. All right. Let's need to start seeing some upgrades sooner or later. Castle coming up over here. The trebuchets are setting on up. Running is gonna need to get something. Okay, there's Elite Mangudai. Gonna need to pick up Bracer and Chemistry, of course, as well. And like I said, the Mamluks require fewer upgrades to be as scary. Pay him to cast? I know, it's like the worst investment ever. Wait, why is that the castle you're getting Elite Mangudai in running? Okay, you realize it and cancels it, but that's still more time that's, you know, quote, wasted, quote. Okay, let's see how much HP the Elite Mamluks now have. Oh, wait, 75 HP. I thought it was 40. 45. Oh, man, Bimaristan's insane. Okay, so it's only 120 Elite now. It used to be 130 in AOC. Now it's 120. I mean, it was 133 in, after the Zealotry change, so yeah, it's 13 fewer HP. But yeah, with Bimaristan, it's going to be really freaking hard to kill the Mamluks. That said, the Mangudai still have the range advantage. And the speeds are identical. So that's where this becomes a really tough fight for both players. I mean, if I'm both of these guys, I feel uncomfortable taking a fight. Because the Mamelukes are so tanky and deal so much damage, but the Mangudai are still the ones who are able to dictate engagements. Not look that different? Yeah, but like, how do you improve on perfection? All right, another castle coming up over there, another castle coming up over there. Green is taking one of the neutral golds here to the north, and if he is able to secure this one as well with the castle, that is going to be an excellent pseudo-win condition. Pikeman upgrade coming in. Going Pikeman as Mongols never really feels that exciting, but I guess you just kind of want something of a meat shield here. And a meat shield that doesn't evaporate to Mamelukes like Hussars do. And you can even mix in some nice monks here as Mr. Hamsters. But right now, Terz is using only gold units, right? Only high-cost Mamelukes and high-cost monks and high-cost siege weapons. So this should be better for running going forward. But yeah, I like how the monks can sort of try and dictate an engagement versus the Mamelukes and cause them to run in like that. That said, it's just Mamelukes are still heavily outranged by Mangudai. The pikemen are here. That castle's under so much pressure, though, and it's just going to go down immediately. There isn't even an attempted repair, and that's going to be the second castle that running is going to lose here to Terz. That's it. I mean, these Mangudai are still taking relatively good fights. Relatively. Honestly, these random pikemen running in, they don't do that much, but they just absorb the Mameluke shots as the Mangudai are taking much, much, much better engagements. And the Mangudai are still missing Bloodlines, and also Parthian Tactics. But Bloodlines is an even bigger deal. See gold killed? Yeah, that would be a nice stat, wouldn't it? Overall resources destroyed is in favor of running, though. So it's still just the 3 castles we're running, and he doesn't really have any more stone. I don't know why you even need to go for the tower. Just garrison the TC, man. All right, now there's going to be a skirm switch coming in, as Terz does indeed need to have something that has a little bit better range. The sign-ups. Oh, it's a tiny tournament. I mean, it's like a super, super tiny prize pool. It's just fun. Okay, this is a thing that's happening. Bills are going to punch down the tower really fast. The Mangudai are going to be able to camp underneath there. There's Parthian incoming, but still, no bloodlines. And that could easily be a game-losing mistake, as the Mangudai currently... Oh, no, he does have bloodlines. Okay, I'm sorry. I must have missed that. Okay. I mean, it's still obviously way less HP for the Mangudai than for the Mameluke. It's, in fact, only 2/3 as much HP. But I don't know, guys. Running, taking some good fights. He's still ahead even in resources collected by a little bit. And he's got one more relic. But we're also talking about the Saracens market in the late game versus the Mongols, who don't have guilds. For the love of the game? I mean, it's all about the content, right? Are the biggest StarCraft players also content creators? All right. Town Patrol coming in. And this is already getting to be a very interesting late game. As yes, I mean, skirmishers obviously get bonus damage versus both of these units. And the siege numbers are still quite low as well. I mean, all these units are basically fully upgraded, or will be shortly. Because the thing is, most of these are sets that aren't played live. They're rec sets, so it's very not good for content creators. Which is likely why ACCM plays in this, because he's not as concerned about streaming. Alright, guys. The skirms are real tanky, though. And the Mamluks feel like we'll kill the pikemen a lot faster than the Mangudai will kill the skirmishers. And that is exactly the case right here, as Terz is going to be coming forward, and then going back, and then going forward, and then going back. Forward. And Terz has taken that gold over here. To the east, though, neither player is securing those resources. Looks like, I mean, a lot of the stone was mined, but has now gone down. Res destroyed, still in favor of running, though. Still no major siege investment. I mean, you're making trebs, but nothing else. No bombard cannons for Saracens, no drill siege for Mongols. I mean, obviously it's a little much to go for Mameluke SO in a 1v1 on basically any map. Now, Town Patrol song? Okay, I'll do it just for you, Ensign Toast. Got the Town Patrol! Town Patrol! Town Patrol! Coming Thursday at 9 p.m. NBC's latest cop drama, The Town Patrol. Oh, micro. Uh-huh. Well, villagers are still mining gold there for Terz. And running population actually is not looking very sexy. And now Terz is actually ahead here in resources destroyed. And Saracen trash is better than Mongol trash. Those, I mean, he probably deleted some. And lost some others. So far away, magic. Good old Mongol Mameluke. But Running's now going to have Blast Furnace as well. This is a really interesting game, guys. Because Running's actually slightly ahead in every single resource right now. And he has one more relic. But as the game goes on, the Saracen market is going to be huge. And like I said, the better trash is in favor of Saracens quite decisively. Then again, look at this. This is the anti-trickle trebbing. Popping the castles down, that is a very real win condition for either of these players. And note that the castles at this point are all very defensively placed from Running. He's lost 2 already at this point, so he can't really afford to lose any more. Whoa, he's going to try and come in with another one, though. He did have a lot of gold banked up. All right, Mangudai, of course, going to start to do their Mangudai thing, and the Hussars are going to be a great meat shield here as well. The Mangudai and Mamelukes, both M units, all of those trebs just get absolutely eviscerated, of course, by the Saracen unique unit here. And yet, a lot of them are going to end up dying to the Mangudai. And now Running back to a population lead. That castle, I guess it's still going to happen right now. That is definitely a misclick from Terz, sending a little bit of gold he otherwise would not want to. Yeah, they were not well placed to protect the trebs at all. And there's still a lot of dead Mamelukes. So look, there's 32 Mangudai with 20 more on the way versus only 2/3 as many Mamelukes as Mangudai with 1 more on the way. And also no more gold left here for Mr. Hamsters. Like, a lot of Mamelukes died to kill those Trebs. This is really interesting, though. Skirmy bros are coming in. Again, like, the skirms are a good tanking unit to the Mangudai. But it's still kind of awkward to micro because the skirms have longer range than the Mamelukes, so the Mamelukes will kind of, like, naturally want to go in front. And now Terz's population is the one that's hemorrhaging. Purple still gathering a little bit more in terms of resources. Like I said, the res collected is still fairly close all around. I mean, it's just like a little bit more wood for running. But I'd be really curious to know the gold destroyed value, which unfortunately is not a stat that we have access to. This game's great, though. Maybe we should just ban DE civs. Or maybe, like, we allow, like, 1, at most 2 civilizations per expansion through that we can, you know, consider as good civs. I think that's fair. Except Bulgarians. No, I'd let Tatars through. And also we have the HD civs, like I'd let Malians through. Let Ethiopians through. I'd let Berbers through. Let Burmese through. Yeah, I'd let through all of the Forgotten civs. You have Tauruses and all that? Yeah, I don't really feel like I'm in a position to request features, especially with, all the layoffs at Cap Trade right now. No, definitely not Portuguese, oh my goodness. And for the time being, not the Raja civs, except for Burmese. That's a lot of dead Mamelukes, guys. And I think that running, you know, his idea that, okay, just keep the Mangudai alive, everything else can be replaced more easily. Oh, it's absolutely Exodia versus Exodia, which makes this matchup so fun. But I still think that Terz, it's not necessarily that Mamelukes are better, or Mamelukes are better or worse than Mangudai. It's, I think, that running, again, kept his eye on the prize and saying that, you know what, the most important thing for me is to keep my blob of Mangudai alive. And that's exactly what he's done. Whereas Terz was much more willing to sack his Mamelukes to kill enemy siege units or just try and take those big fights. And I think it is just a bit of a better approach to, again, focus everything on the unique unit. I mean, yeah, Mangudai are, like, the easiest unit to keep alive, except for, like, camel archers. But even so, I still think that you guys saw there was, like, a big fight over here where a lot of Mamelukes went down to not that many Mangudai, and then there was the big fight over here where all the Trebs died, yeah, but the Mangudai stayed alive. And I do think that running might just be slightly outplaying Terz here. Although, honestly, like, any running versus Terz set feels like it needs to be a best of 7 since they're so freaking close in skill level. A little bit of a raid over here, though. But Terz's population is the one that's dropping. The Q is still better for running. The Eco is now 6,000 resources ahead. Then Berbers. The advantage for Berbers is that you get the HP regeneration with Maghrebi camels. It just is really freaking hard to kill a blob of camel archers. I mean, if you're up against siege onagers or Hofnitsa, yeah, you'd rather have the Mangudai. But you tend not to run into those units, like, all the time. Anyway, still a 30 pop advantage here for running. I mean, granted, like, his gold is running out very soon, and yes, Saracens are still going to be much better in the trash war, as they have the Saracen market versus not even guilds. Nam. Anyway, Hussars are coming through 9.1k army value to 5.2k. And again, that gold discrepancy is actually only growing at this point in favor of Running, who is still taking one of those neutral golds. There we go. Oh, man. I think this might be it, guys. Terz's population's starting to fall. The scores are still super close, but again, it just feels like Running is just a hair better here in these late game scenarios. Just, again, slightly outplaying Terz. And indeed, it will be the victory there for Mr. Running. You can see 140 Mangudai train versus 96 Mamelukes. That is a major, major difference when, you know, both units, both sides are dying a little bit. So there we go. Running gets the win. He will move on to the next round and eliminate Terz in another close 2-1 set. But a very, very good set. Very close games. Yeah, Running is a very good late game player. Anyway, guys, that is actually, I think, going to be it for today. Oh, whoops. Tomorrow we'll start at a much better time. Again, sorry for being late. It's going to be Hope versus Niaz at, what is that, 14 GMT? So I'll be casting that in the morning at a much more usual time, and it'll probably be much more a usual length stream. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.